Hello there, guys. Today I'm introducing you to a game that goes by the name of The Pit. The Pit is a roguelike set in the universe of a known game by the name of Sword in the Stars. So it's an interesting crossover. It takes apparently different things like monsters and items from that universe, but puts these things in a roguelike style. And this is a more traditional roguelike. It isn't like FTL or anything like that. It's no action roguelike. It's a traditional roguelike in the fact that it is turn-based, and it does that pretty well. That turn-based nature leads to a lot of strategy in the gameplay. You'll have to make tactical decisions on what to shoot and where to face. There's a actual field of sight element to it where you can't see anything directly behind you, and I really like when top-down games do something like that, because I'm not a huge fan of first-person games at all, really. I do really prefer another perspective, but I can still really appreciate the strategic element that having a field of view adds. The game has a real sense of survival, especially when you first start. You have to worry about taking the time to search a crate or to reload a gun, because some enemy could pop out while you're doing it and just hit you a bunch. You have to worry about not only your health, but your hunger level, so that level of survival really is there. There isn't too much extra micromanaging or anything like that. No thirst meter, no anything else. It's just health and hunger. And similar to that, there's a lot of mix between elements of realism and elements of, well, elements that are just really gamey. Combat is, like I said, very strategic and fun enough with different weapons that have different behaviors and that can be upgraded with various bio mods that you'll find around the game. I'm not sure if you can actually find weapons, but there's 3 classes to choose from when you start, and each of them has a different set of weapons they start with that can be modified. Leveling in the Pit is typical RPG fare with 3 stats, and then a handful of abilities that you can level up. Things like ability with all your different weapons, pistols, automatic weapons, shotgun, melee, and then things like being able to hack into computers and being able to repair things, and a couple more interesting abilities. There's a nice log in your corner of the screen that records everything you come across, all the items, all the recipes, I'll get to that in a second, and all the monsters you find. And that log goes between games, so that is some kind of permanent progress that you'll get, as the game is a roguelike, and so once you die, you're dead for good. I'd say the game has an interesting art style that some may not like, but others will, and I'm not going to give it too much praise, but then again, traditional roguelikes aren't that known for having amazing art styles, and I don't expect it at all. It's tile-based, it's kind of interesting, and it is not bad. The game's areas vary as you go deeper and deeper into the pit. The style's different, the enemy variety is different, and it does get harder and harder as you go along. There's a lot of randomness going on. You'll kind of face the same things at the same level each playthrough, I think, but the exact presentation of it will never be the same, and the items especially are going to be pretty random, I think. I mentioned crafting. There is a crafting system that I haven't explored too much because it seems to be mostly guessing, which I guess isn't too bad, as you'll have to figure out new recipes every playthrough, and after a few playthroughs, maybe you'll have a few recipes to be able to rely on. I'm not sure exactly what you can craft, but I know a lot of it's food, and I've seen some items that seem to indicate they are supplies that can be crafted into medical tools. I like a lot of things about the game. The fact that you can kind of play differently with different characters is cool, and everything you do, including picking locks and hacking things, will give you XP, so it's not just combat that matters. In terms of difficulty, if you're looking for that real roguelike experience, I would suggest picking something above normal mode. Hard mode is reasonable, and I'm sure insane after that is going to be a really tough challenge. Normal, as long as you kind of go through all the levels completely, ends up being kind of easy, from my personal experience so far at least. I did one try on normal and didn't really seem to be feeling that I was in much danger because I was just clearing levels and I seemed to be a lot more powerful than anything I was facing. Eventually I just started to kind of rush through levels a little more, and at that point I did get killed, but that was just a dumb decision on my part, and now I'm trying on hard mode. I've only made it to maybe around level 10, I want to say, and there are 30 total stages in the pit, so there's still a lot to do. I think the game is not perfect by any means, but it's a fun, traditional roguelike experience in a setting that isn't very common in roguelikes from the ones I've played. So on that basis, you might want to give the game a go for $10, I believe, and especially anyone that is a fan of the Sword of the Stars series. I unfortunately haven't played any of those games, so I don't really know too much about it, which is something I may need to rectify in the future. For now, I'm gonna settle for a little bit of diving through the pit. That is about all for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Maple Dungeons, and I will see you next time.
In record time. I'm going to be a mean ghost.